least pretty scene I have ever made. And I'm using my very aggressive, weirdly colored HDR image. And I'm not gonna lie, I do very much like the way this shows up. It's just grainy as all get out. I'm gonna set my render settings to a smaller image, but basically a portal light, you can use it is, so you can use it to get a little bit more control over how your HDRI is affecting the image. So in this case, and I still think I have a bunch of GI turned on. Oh god, yeah, I'm gonna set that back down to 1. All right, cool. So this is basically the setup that I have here for this particular render. I've made a box with a hole in it, and there is an HDR light just hanging out on the outside. And then pretty much my whole render looks pretty trashy. Like if you zoom in, this is super grainy. I haven't modified the samples at all, but basically the reason that this is grainy, and I think I've mentioned this maybe before, it tends to be shadows that are the grainiest areas of renders, and this whole thing is in a solid closed box. The only light coming in is from this window, so most of this is in shadow from this HDRI, which is why, again, a lot of this appears grainy. If you look at it, not that it makes it's a huge difference, but like the brightest areas, like right here, tend to be less aggressively grainy than like this area back here, which just has flecks of like orange showing up in it. So again, that's mostly just the HDRI. If I went and like bumped up the samples really aggressively, it would help to fix that. It just takes forever to render, so shrugs. But basically what a portal light does is it allows you to effectively selectively show where your HDRI shows up. So in this case, I'm just going to do a really weird thing and punch another hole in this wall really fast, like a crazy person. Oh, hello. Let me see, here's my dome light. Huzzah. I don't know why I'm bothering to close this, but I am. Alright, so now we have 2 windows in this super awkward scene. I'm going to go in, and the process for doing this in Redshift and Arnold is pretty much the same, so I'm just going to demo it in Arnold. I'm going to go into Arnold, Lights, and this time I want Light Portal. I think it might actually be called Portal Light in Redshift, but it says Portal in the name. So I'm just going to grab this and, turn it around so it's like kind of facing my window. And I'll just sort of let a render go as I do this. But what happens if I turn off GI for this completely? Feeling kind of aggressive. All right, so this is no GI. So you should be able to sort of grab this portal light and expand it so it's the shape of the window. And what that should do, and for some reason it seems to be a little bit wonky right now, what it should do is go through and basically only light from this window, so like there shouldn't be light coming in from this window at all. I think I need to refresh my render. All right, for some reason it's just not working, which is weird. It's very strange. So normally what happens, and this like worked in my demo when I was like fiddling with this on my home computer, was that pretty much as soon as you add this into your scene, it's going to cut out the light. So if the portal light is from this window, the original one, it's going to stop casting light in the scene from this window. I'm not, again, and I don't usually use these, honestly. Like, if I'm going to throw an HDRI and I just use the HDRI, but I can look into why that's not working, but yeah, it's very strange. But yeah, so they can be good. Again, so not entirely sure why this isn't working right now, but they are good if you ever want, you could do something. So imagine that you want you're lighting the scene and the window is coming from where the camera is, so like behind the camera. Rather than having to physically model a wall with a hole in it for a window, You could just throw a portal light in, and it's pretty much going to throw light only from that portal light, more or less. But so they're kind of good for like selectively adding light into your scene, or going through and like really fine-tuning where that light is actually showing up. Again, personally, I don't usually use them that much, but I know like a lot of people just sort of like them for window things. Kind of to each their own. So that's the basic idea of a portal light. If anyone wants to use them and like has issues with them, I can troubleshoot that further. I'm gonna go home and be salty and see if I can figure out why this isn't working later, but yeah. Any questions on that very awkward explanation of portal lights? All right. Any questions on any of the other like homework or assignments or anything like that for this week? Cool. All right, in that case, I'm going to open up to Open Lab, so if you guys wouldn't mind hanging out until, I'm going to say at least like 2:15, and then after that you can go. I'm just going to kind of wander around, see if anyone has issues or like questions about past work or like if, you know, how to proceed with any of their other stuff going forward.